week, and that will continue for the first 4 weeks of the tier. So that starts next week. So we'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Tuesday of next week, this is tentative, but after talking stuff out with officers and figuring out what the best way to do this is, we think we're going to just start normal. A lot of the loot, the good loot, the things that people want, is backloaded in the raid. So it's very likely that by the time we get to the bosses on heroic that we want the good loot off of, we kind of just get walled a little bit, and we could probably use the extra power from normal. So we'll just start normal. We'll blast it. We'll do first 7. We'll leave the last boss, and I'll tell you why at the end. But we'll leave the last boss and we'll swap to heroic. And then we'll just go there. Here's our reach goal, our like super idealistic, if this happens, we're gaming type of goal. We do first 7 on normal, and we do first 7 on heroic on Tuesday. And we come back Wednesday and we blast out AOTC, and then we just go back to normal and do the last boss. And the reason I want to do that is because I want access to all the curios that drop, both on both on heroic and normal at the same time. Because I want to even out people's tier situations and set us up for getting 4-piece by the Tuesday after that. And I've like, after thinking about different ways to do this, I think the best way is that we game the curios and we kind of just deal with the other tier token drops as they come. But like I said, if we game and we can do this thing on Tuesday where we go first 7 normal, first 7 heroic, and we come back on Wednesday, that sets us up really well because we can bounce around all the tokens that drop off. Basically, it's like 10 bosses worth of tokens around, and then we can just take that and go into dealing with the curios on Wednesday. Like I said, reach goal. I'm not saying we're going to do it. It'd be really, really nice. And then furthermore, if that happens on Thursday, that sets us up to go right into Mythic and do the first 2 on Mythic, which we've prepped, we're ready to do. So, just keep that in mind. Like I said, reach goal. But yeah, other than that, we are probably walking into the raid at the same power level that we have right now. So not really any significant gains to make. If you have a chance to do some keys before the raid drops on Tuesday, do that. Other than that, we don't really have any hard rules or expectations before. We know a lot of you work, blah, blah, whatever. There's like some weird thing where you can get like 645 gear if you really, really want to sweat it out. I don't really care if you do it or not, but I pinged it in general. I think it's like 3 pieces. But yeah, that's all I got. Justin will take it away now.
All right, what up? Peep the stream. All right, checking out. Okay, so if you guys haven't been looking yet, okay, the channels are all populated with at least heroic, besides Chrome King Gallywix. I'll just talk about this real quick because there's no Gallywix footage. I don't feel there's a need to put up a guide or at least a raid plan that's in depth as the other channels. Okay, so day 1, I will link footage. And then probably on day 2, I'll have a raid plan. So that's the Tuesday. I'm just gonna post footage in here, and then on the Wednesday, I'll probably have a raid plan ready. But for every other boss, there's at least 1 raid plan in every channel. Okay, so furthermore, okay. Please do not waste your own time. Okay, spending 5 hours prepping for Vexie and then 2 minutes prepping for Mugsy. Okay, your prep should start from the top down. So I would recommend, if you're going to only watch, let's say, 1 video the entire tier, watch Chrome King Gallywix, familiarize yourself with the mechanics. It's going to be the hardest bosses tier. Then go down, Mugsy, whatever. These couple bosses, even on Heroic, probably the first 4, they're not going to take that much effort, right? But still familiarize with yourself with every single boss. But like I said, just spend more time on the higher bosses because those are probably actually going to take a couple pulls. Okay. So, in this talk, I'm going to try to be brief, or as brief as I can be. I am not going to talk about every single mechanic that's going to happen on every single fight. Okay, that's your responsibility. I am just going to make you aware that 1, these channels exist, and then 2, any strategy or anything that I think is of note, in particular, any of the main mechanics on the fight, and our strategy of dealing with them. Okay, so I expect that every single person in the raid is able to look at these channels and figure out the way that they're going to get informed in the fights. I have included many different ways that you can inform yourselves on every fight. Okay, just take a little bit of time and look in the channels. Okay. Starting with the first boss, Vexie and the Gear Gardeners. Okay, so we're copying Andrew T. Strat. I have linked an alternative strat, an alternative raid plan. This is just if they change the way that the biker ads work on this fight. If they change it, then we're using alt strat. If not, then we're doing this. So this fight is pretty much just all in setup. So all that's going to happen is the boss is going to cast a tank buster called Tank Buster into a cast called Oil Spew. That will target 2 players. Those 2 players, this is like probably like 20 seconds in the fight. They're just going to drop them on the 2 markers that we set down. From there, the rest of the raid is just going to take a gate, and we're chilling there until the first biker ad spawn, like so. We're literally just pixel stacking. The biker ads will go through the oil. If this works, like it does on PTR, then them riding through oil will make them not deal damage. So we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about the lines. And then all we have to do from that point is kill the ads, and you'll get an extra action button. Use it, and you can hit the boss. Use them to hit the boss. The boss has starts with 6 stacks. I don't remember what the buff's called, but it starts with 6 stacks of a buff. Every single bite that enters the boss will remove 1 stack. Once all the stacks are removed, then the boss will enter intermission, where they'll take double damage. That's where we're gonna lust. So on heroic, we're probably not going to worry about it, but on mythic, we're going to try to game it such that our timing into the intermission on mythic is at about 150. So we're going to lust, use our 2 minutes, and blow the boss up. So that's pretty much it in terms of heroic mechanics. The only other thing is when those oil spew casts come again, you're just taking them to the side. Doc will call the side. We'll have these marked. So let's just say, like, I don't know, this one might be like Skull over here, and this one might be Moon. So we'll call the oil spew like Skull. Both people go over there. And that's how we handle that. So in terms of mythic mechanics now, there's only 2 additions where, for one, the biker ads, when they die, instead of just dying and immediately allowing us to use their bike, we have to get a soak. Oh, what up? We have to get a soak that you then take into the biker ads. It's so each biker ad that dies will drop 2 soaks. Both of those people must go onto a bike, and then when a bike has 2 stacks, one from each soak, it will be usable. The only other change is, if you are familiar with the fight already, you'll know that ads spawn during intermission. That will try to repair the boss. On Mythic, there will just be an additional ad spawning with them that will make them CC immune. So we will have assignments, so we should be checking that if you're on Mythic. Of these, so let's say, like, if your class is Paralysis, or like if you're a Druid, if you have Entangling Roots, you'll just be assigned to root these ads or use Paralysis, whatever, so that we don't have to deal with it at all. And that's about it. There's a couple other things, just like I said, just look at the channels and you'll be able to figure out the rest.
Couple notes on assignments too. They're underway. We're waiting on Viseros to release his shit like he normally does, and then those will also be in the boss channel as we come up to raid day.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna show it really quick. I'm not gonna watch the whole fight, but you can see here. So the gate's down. Tank Buster cast that puts the first oil. In a second, he's going to cast Oil Spew. Or Spew Oil, sorry. Put them on the markers. And then at this point now, people are getting over, and they're pretty much just stacked in a line. I'm just going to try to show okay. So, see, biker ads, right? They shoot right through the raid. Now they're on that wall. We kill them, and then shoot them into the boss. If it's on Mythic, like I said, you have to pick up the 2 soaks, and that's about it. Okay. Okay. Second boss. So this boss, we're gonna lust on pull. This boss requires 2 split teams. So on heroic, we're gonna do 15-15. On mythic, we're gonna do 10-10. So each boss just has a couple mechanics. They do different things. Just as an idea, we're going to be doing this setup in terms of, I'm just going to call the team that starts on the left with the Dino Boss red team, and I'm going to call the team that starts with the ape on the right blue team. We're just going to have this kind of setup where there's a lot to look at, so we'll just isolate the P1 and the P1 for now on the red team. If you are starting on red, so you're going to be doing this bomb 1, 2, and 3. When the intermission happens, you have to swap bosses. They're just going to swap and stay on the same side. Okay, so imagine it, right? We're on red team, right? We're down here, bomb 1, 2, 3. When we swap over, right? We swap over. We're just staying on the same side. Okay. So the main mechanic of this Dino boss is that he's going to do a bomb cast. Okay, so that the bomb cast needs to be soaked by as many people as possible. It should be all 10, but there's only going to be one person that might not be in it, and it's the person that's doing the toy on Mythic. But I'll get to that later. In general, let me just speed ahead in this one. So it's the scrap bomb cast. So it's baited by anyone. It seems to be the consensus is anyone within 25 yards. I've heard that it's anyone in melee of the boss. So just in general, if you're on this side, you're sticking in melee. You have no reason to get off the boss until you'll see in a second. So everyone's in the stack. This is what's going to make us spread. As soon as this is done, your objective is to get back to our predetermined stack position. Okay, so the bomb would go off, right? We're getting back to this spot. Okay, that is the main mechanic for red. There is, you might have seen it. There is this line AoE that will be targeted on a player. Oh, sorry, that already happened. Okay, this line AoE up here, that's baited in person. Obviously, just don't bait this at the other side. So if I'm this person, I'm not aiming it over here, and you're not aiming it at the group. That's pretty much it. This person does have enough time to bait this away and then get in the soak. Okay. So I'm going to just talk about blue team now. So blue team's main mechanic is that they have an energy meter. Really quick, I'll show that. I don't know where. Oh, it's right here. It's on the screen. So when you move, so you can see it start to build up. Okay. When you move, it causes this energy meter to build up. If it hits 100, you not only stun yourself and do a lot of damage to yourself, it also hits everyone around you. Okay. So it's very imperative that you do not have any extra movement or unnecessary movement on this boss if you're on the monkey boss. Okay.
Yo, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yo, kid, does jumping fill up that bar?
I have no idea.
You can't play fire if it does.
No, bro.
No.
I'm still playing fire, bro. I'm just gonna time GCDs. But it just helped.
Yeah. Okay. So, just be aware of that. Okay. Other than that, on blue side, everything is pretty much just exactly what you're seeing right now, which is baited AoEs. There are fixate ads, which drop a puddle. We're just going to try our best to not drop them in bad spots. So if you run into the ad or if it times out on Mythic, that will cause the ad to drop its puddle. That puddle, if you stand in it, it's a silent zone. So we don't want that in bad spots, right? That's pretty much it. So blue side is just management of those fixate ads and not trying to overmove. So the Mythic mechanic is these toys. Okay, so each boss will spawn 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark the center of the arena. When toys come in close proximity of a toy of the opposite boss, they will blow up. Okay, so we want this to happen because it is lethal for 2 toys to blow up. on their own. So ideally we want to end, during the intermission as well, we're taking an unbelievable amount of damage. During the intermission, the toys will automatically collide with each other. We want to avoid that happening. Okay, so for red side, we will have one person assigned to, and sorry, when I say red side, I mean when either team comes to the dinosaur boss, there'll be one person assigned to do the toys and manage the toys. For the blue side, the ape side, this is a team effort. That's what we're going to try. If it doesn't work out, then we'll just assign one person to do it. But it is a team effort. What we'll have is the person that is assigned to do this toy on the red side, that person will be in charge of pinging the toy that is meant to go next. Okay? So let's say, you know, I don't know, like I'm the melee, I'm assigned to it, right? If it's over here, I'm gonna ping it. Whoever is closest will know that, you know, it's a team effort. They have to go try to do it. We'll just try that for now. It's the second boss. It shouldn't be too complicated. There's only 3 toys. And just as an idea, of course, because blue side has restricted movement, right? We're all going to try to just do, blue side has to kick each doll once. The red side is in charge of, you know, potentially kicking it twice, 3 times in order for these dolls to collide. And you kick them by just simply moving into them. And that is about it. The positioning for the ball for the phases is here. It's in the raid plan. And this is the last. I'm just gonna briefly talk about intermission. It's simply just 2 target cleave and you swap sides. That's it. There's really nothing else going on. It's this. You just dodge everything. There's nothing happening here. Just make sure you don't get clipped. And make sure that you fully swap sides, because if you're, for example, in the middle, what will happen to you is you'll get both bosses dots. Just by simply hitting a boss, it'll stack a dot on you. If you're in the middle for an extended period of time, you'll get both bosses dots and you will die. Okay. Moving on. All right, Rik Reverb. Okay, so there's not really much happening on this boss, to be honest with you. This boss is mainly a tank fight and a ranged fight, so I'm sure during the ranged meeting, Rix will tell you about everything range related. But in general, the boss will cast Amplification 3 times per phase. That puts a pylon down. The first cast he does, assuming it stays the same as it is on PTR, the first cast only does 1 on the boss. And sorry, I should say every single cast will cast 1 on the boss, and then after the first cast, it'll be cast on both the boss and baited by a random range. So, if you can see here, right, Amplification summons the first pylon, then the boss is going to be moved to a predetermined location. So we have these markers down. So you can see this initial marker, this is the first amplification, and then we're just going to drag the boss, and then you can see here, right, the range just moved down to green, and the melee just moved down 1 more, okay? So other than that, there's not really much going on. The danger of these pylons is if the boss is near them, they will amplify and start shitting out AoEs, as well as just dealing ray damage. We need to deal with that by draining the pylons. So if you watch Dratnos' character here, okay, when you click on the pylon, you'll start to drain it, and you'll start to accumulate a debuff that's right here. It's too small to see, but just believe me. This will make you take extra damage from draining. It lasts about 45 seconds each stack. Okay, they fall off together. So draining is a team activity. Okay, you're gonna have on your UI, you'll have the pylons somewhere, whatever. You'll see their energy. We just need to make sure that they're not overloading, getting to 100%. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is dodgeable. There will be these like dynamite ads that spawn. We want to kill these as fast as possible. Hitting them is very good for everyone because it just gives you a haste buff. So everyone should participate in hitting them. And other than that, it's just rinse and repeat of amplification cast, ads, and then there's one more thing called faulty zap. This is spread AoEs on random players. So Of course, ranged have the worst of it here because this will overlap with amplification. So your job is to just make sure that you're hovering around your marker, but not clipping the rest of the range standing on your predetermined marker. So, yeah, when boss goes into intermission, he's automatically going to drain these amplifiers. So we just have to make sure going into intermission that they're not on 100. Other than that, the boss will take care of it. The boss goes immune, so don't worry about hitting the boss. You'll see that really quickly. Sorry. Okay. So the boss will do this ring, not too dissimilar from Queen Ansarak, except instead of a person having to go into the center, or let's say clicking the pylon, it just automatically goes off. So make sure you are in this circle when this ring is coming out from the boss. That ring will also destroy the pylon that we have to go to. So this blue circle indicator is of the amplifier that we must go to. He'll destroy 4 pylons. So, of course, the escalation on this fight is that there will always be one more pylon after intermission. So the first set, or the first phase 1, we'll end up with 5 pylons. He'll destroy 4. By the second intermission, we'll have 6 pylons. So there's an escalation where everyone needs to, like I said, be participating in draining. And that's about it for this boss. Like I said, there's some additional stuff that you can read about on your own. Okay, fourth boss. Sprocket Monger, Lock and Stock. Okay, lot going on in this boss. In terms of, there's a whole bunch of mechanics, but to be honest with you, most of them amount to just dodge. Okay, there is something that there's 2 mechanics that we have to actually care about. It's Spiral Drill and these mines that are going to go out. So he's going to cast Foot Blasters. Okay, all right, sorry, I should mention this first. Throughout the length of this boss, he will create half of the playable area as he'll make half of the playable area unplayable. Okay, so you can see this little lightning down here. That means that area is unplayable. So if you see in the raid plan, it's indicated by this. So when the fight starts, and let me bring this up. So when the fight starts, he's going to make this area unplayable. This is by the insurance, right? So you can see here, this handy dandy chart shows you exactly how the fight is going to play out. This blue indicator shows the areas that are unplayable, okay? So this Foot Blaster cast will spawn 4 mines. For the most part, we only have to care about 3 of them because what will happen is when we touch them, they'll detonate. The only thing that we have to care about is making sure that multiple do not detonate at the same time. Otherwise, it's just raid damage. So, and multiple detonating at the same time will wipe us. So, as an example, this first set, there's 4. So you're going to see, blow it up 1, waiting for the debuff to fall off. Blowing up a second one, waiting for the debuff to fall off. And then blowing up a third one, waiting for the debuff to fall off. We're just going to let, for the first 2 sets every phase, the first 2 blow up by themselves. First 2, we're going to blow up manually. Sorry, I messed up again. The first 3, we're going to blow up manually. The 4th will allow it to time out and just blow up on its own. And again, that's indicated by this right here. Okay, so you can see it. 1, 2, 3. And this 4th bomb does not have something assigned to it, or someone assigned to it. So a lot going on. In general, the only thing you really need to care about is, are you assigned to a mine? The answer is yes. Then you have to care. You have to know which mine you're soaking. Again, that will happen with the assignments. Other than that, the main thing you have to care about is, it's coming up, is this mechanic called Spiral Mine? Or Spiral, Screw Up. So what's going to happen is, he is going to target random players with this yellow arrow. They will spawn these drills. So we want to be putting these not like how they did, ideally, which means that we're all going to have to pre-position, okay? So you can kind of see it. This orange line right here and this orange line on the outside, those are the two spots that we want to be dropping our screw ups. Okay. So this orange line, that orange line, the orange line's all around the arena. Okay. Those are where we want to be dropping them. We want to be dropping them clumped together as best as we can. I cannot stress enough that that is pretty much your sole responsibility. Like all of the other mechanics just purely amount to you're just dodging something, like these rockets, right? You just dodge them. What's it called? There's going to be a couple magnets that spawn in the center that are going to draw you towards them. You just walk away from it. There's going to be right here lasers like this. Again, just dodge them. There's not really much going on other than that. So like I said, the things you have to care about are the mines and the drills. Okay. So during the intermission, he will suck us all back to the entrance. And then what's going to happen is we're going to take a gateway, and he is going to create the play, or he's going to make all 4 quadrants unplayable, leaving only the sides and the center where the treadmills are, or whatever the fuck these are called.
Conveyor belts.
Yeah, conveyor belts. For us to walk on. Okay. I think I went too far. Let me see. No, it's happening right here. Okay. So, sorry, just real quick. This is why, by the way, look at where these screws are. Okay. So we're going to get sucked back to the start. Right? If you're in line with these drills, you're fucking dead. Okay. So please, please, please make sure that you are dropping drills properly. We're going to get sucked back to the center. Your role officers will tell you how we're handling this movement here. But just watch what these guys do. So they're headed up. You can see if you're headed on the conveyor belt, it's pushing you back, it's slowing you. If you walk along this edge, assuming they don't fix it, you will not take the damage from the electricity, and you can just walk up without anything pushing you back. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And that's about it. After the intermission, which is like this, he's just going to rinse and repeat. The escalation is that after every intermission, he does more damage, and the patterns are different. So you can see the patterns are different.
And his
And
mechanics become empowered, right?
yeah, some of his mechanics become empowered. So the first go around, it is the lasers. So you can see they're a lot wider. The second go around, it is the missiles. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So on the second go around, he empowers the missiles, which if you get hit, instead of just dealing damage to you, it deals damage to the raid. So very bad. And that's about it. I don't know when we're going to kill this boss. We're going to list on pull. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say at the start. I don't know when, what time we can expect to kill this boss. But in general, don't worry too much about memorizing this exact pattern. The idea is generally just going to be you're following the tank. And if you are assigned these mines, so as you can see here, so tank is going to be the first, how do you call it? The first mine close to the center. The range is always going to be away from the tank and melee, and the melee is just always going to be the far mine on the tank platform. So this is bomb set 1, right? Tank here, melee here, ranged here, right? So using that same exact logic, right? Tank here, closest to the center, right? Melee goes far on the same platform, right? Range goes to the far platform. This is true for every single one. Okay. Moving on. What boss am I on? One arm bandit.
Those 4.
Did you do Stix yet?
You got to do Stix
Oh, you
Bunker
didn't- you
Junker.
didn't do Stix.
Oh, sorry, I skipped Stix. Sorry. Okay, Stix. Okay. A lot going on in this boss. But it's not too complicated. Okay. So you might have seen this boss PTR footage. This is the boss where you get on top of the ball and you do you pick up some trash. So I'm not gonna explain to you how that works. Just read this shit. It's in the channel. In general, you're just going from a small to a medium to a large. You do that through picking up either trash or ads. Okay. With the ultimate goal, right, being that you are either going to be hitting a discarded Doom Explosive to blow it up early, or you're going to be hitting the boss himself. Okay. So that's just the goal. Get to large always as fast as possible, and you're either hitting the bomb or you're hitting the boss. Okay. So the electromagnetic sorting cast does a bajillion things on this boss, but this is pretty much the important cast. It initially has you dodge all of these AoEs. It will then spawn the garbage, and then it will then spawn the ads. Okay. Like I said, if you just look at these two images, okay, you pretty much learn the entire boss. Okay. Other than that, I just want to show one sequence from this kill. Actually, you know what? I'll mention it. Okay, there is one additional ad. Okay, other than hyenas and scrap masters. Okay, these are bombshells. As you're gonna see in this video, your job as a person who does not get the ball is to kill these ads as fast as possible, or at least get them to below 75% HP. While they are above 75 HP, they are parked on medium trash. Okay, and if they are hit with a ball, they will blow up and do a bunch of ray damage. If we and give us a debuff. While we have that debuff, if it happens again, so either the bombshell's blowing up early, or sorry, yeah, bombshells blowing up early by us hitting them with the balls, or they detonate over time, we wipe. Okay, so as a DPS that does not get a ball, your job is to hit these bombshells. Okay, I'm talking about you are turning and you're hitting these bombshells. Okay, it's not a like, you know, I'm gonna wait till the boss is dragged over. No, it's you are turning and you're hitting these bombshells. So I'm just gonna show this sequence. So this healer is going to get marked. They immediately go out. This is what I want to see from everyone. Okay, you get marked, you go out. So now he's rolling, right? He's picking up the small trash. Now he's medium. Now he can pick up the medium trash. Now he's big. Okay, so remember, he dodged this bombshell. He's hitting the boss. Watch this guy on the right. Right? There's a bombshell there, right? You have to watch, okay? Don't just assume that you can go into the boss, okay? Do not get too excited. You want to just hit the boss, okay? Please, this is the literal only thing that can wipe us. So, be like this guy. He sees the bombshell, he just turns it, and takes it into the boss, okay? Again, this is the most important thing, okay? You will wipe us if you do not pay attention to bombshells, okay? Other than that, I'll just go over it really quick. There's a cast called Incinerator. Just marks random players. It is very bad if you get Incinerator and you're touching a garbage pile. You'll ignite it. Does permanent ray damage to the party. It'll it leaves a permanent dot essentially. So just in general, don't be near trash. Because there's no reason to. Okay. Moving on. Okay, one-armed bandit. This boss is kind of cool because he has a mechanic called Spin to Win. He'll spawn ads, where when we kill the ad, it'll drop a token. We take that token, we combine two of them by putting them into the boss, and a mechanic will pop out. So, in the raid plan as well as in the channel, okay, you can see the combinations. This is also the order that we're doing on Heroic from left to right. So starting with Flame and Coin, then going Coin and Bomb, then going Shock and Flame, etc. Okay. So other than that, the boss will cast something called Payline. This, if you narrowly dodge it, you get a damage buff. Our strategy is we are at the start going to be stacked. If you can imagine, everyone's stacked on this range player right here. To bait these, because these are baited on players, we're just going to stack. This is going to be the one time that it's planned that we are going to use this damage buff. For the rest of the fight, We'll see how things are tuned. Where sorry, I'll just start from the start. When this pay line goes out and you narrowly dodge it, you get the damage buff. It will then hit a wall and it can be shot out again by a player. So a player going over it and using the extra action button, you can shoot it out again. The only one planned pay line buff that we're going to use is at the start, where we're all going to stand together, bait the pay line down, and then everyone's going to get the buff in their opener. For the rest of the fight, as we see how the boss is tuned, we will probably just be sending all of the rest of them directly into the wall. You can't do that on Mythic, but since I'm only talking about Heroic, we're just going to get rid of these so that we don't have to deal with the mechanic. So, like I said, the main mechanic is just spin to win mechanic. Like I said, you can read about them. In general, the ones that or the main thing you need to care about is these bombs. The bomb ad or any combination of bombs will summon ads. If these touch you, they blow up, dealing raid-wide damage. Very bad. Okay, so whenever we're doing a bomb combination, which is every other cast, you just need to make sure that as the bomb ads spawn, you are looking, and if you see that you're fixated, okay, just be extra careful. Okay, be extra careful, because like I said, that is pretty much the one thing that can really wipe us in phase 1 of One-Armed Bandit. Okay, so just very briefly, I'm just going to show what it looks like. So the boss will spawn, with 2 ads. These ads do not drop tokens, so we just cleave them down at the start. Okay, so these are the ads. Okay, so you see this flame icon. You can see it in the distance. It's a shock icon. And I think this one is a coin. So we're just simply going to cleave the ads with the boss. We're going to drop the token. Someone's going to pick it up. If you accidentally pick it up, right, just make sure we're doing the combination that we said that we're going to do. We're probably just going to call it out to start with. So just be careful if you, for example, because again, we only need 2. If you pick up the third, just be careful not to insert it into the boss. And that's pretty much it. This will just rinse and repeat. Like he'll do Payline and he'll do his Tank Buster, and then he'll just keep casting Spin to Win, just spawn the ads. In general, by the way, the ads just need to die. So even though we only need 2, the third ad must die, because in general they just pretty much cast raid-wide damage. If you get a cast, if a cast goes off on you called Withering Flames, it's just you have to go out and get Dispelled. That's about it. Is that it for this boss? Oh, sorry. You have to interrupt their cast, by the way. So melee in general will be assigned. The boss will be dragged between 2 ads, like so. So melee will be responsible for interrupting these 2 ads. Range just interrupt the far ad. And then when the boss gets to 30%, or the boss casts all 6 token combinations, it'll enter phase 2. So you can read about the mechanics here. So there's a lot going on, but in general, it's just a very hectic phase where there's going to be a lot of area denial from these hypercoils. If you touch this lightning, you die, or you take a lot of damage. You certainly will die. He'll cast Hot Heat, so you'll see in a second. Okay, so these red arrows, those are just targeted on random players. They make the boss will just shoot out a gigantic flame line like that. Okay, just make sure you're being very careful to not clip the rest of the raid. You have a lot of time to get out, right? So he gets the red arrow on him in a second, and now it goes off, right? So you have a lot of time to steer this away from the raid. Okay. So in general, just make sure that you don't get cut off. Make sure you're always staying in front of the boss. We're probably going to rotate around the arena in a clockwise fashion. Okay, so just be very careful. Other than that, there is one more cast called Scattered Payout. Every time you see Scattered Payout, you are scared. Okay, defensives are good. If you get Hot Heat, it's also a good time to use your defensive. Okay, And that is it for this boss. This second phase is very scary. We're gonna lust here. So as we get close to 30%, start holding your cooldowns. And we're gonna try to burst this boss down as fast as possible. And then this is just a timed enrage sequence. This explosive jackpot cast just goes out after some amount of time, and then boom, hard enrage. Okay, one last boss that I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so this boss has a lot going on. I would highly advise you watch this guide right here. It's linked in the channel. Okay, he'll do a breakdown of every mechanic. There is a lot going on. You can see this is 18 slides for this boss, and I tried to condense it as much as I could. Okay, there's a lot going on in this boss. Like I said, if you are going to prepare a boss, okay, please do the later ones. Okay, there's a lot going on in this boss. I'm just going to talk briefly. So in general, we're going to start. We're going to drag it to these ads. We're going to start on. I'm going to just call this gray side the blue side, and I'm going to call this kind of orange side the red side. In general, when the boss is on this side and the majority of players are on that side, the boss will switch mechanic sets. So there is a different set of mechanics and a different cast sequence that the boss will go through depending on if he is on the blue side or if he is on the red side. We are starting on the blue side. So by starting on the blue side, the boss will spawn these two ads on the start. 1 second. So start the boss. Melee will just be cleaving this ad with the boss. Range, figure out a way to kill this far ad. The ads just cast ray damage. The ads also, after you get them to 80% life, they take double damage for like 10 seconds. So use that to your advantage. There will be unstable crawler ads that spawn. When these collide with the player, so we will obviously be doing that intentionally at a staggered rate, they'll do ray damage as well as doing soaks. So you can see these yellow circles, which pretty much just indicate the soaks. This is an every body mechanic. Everyone is attempting to stand in these soaks. Okay, one person per soak. If we fail to use this, or if we fail to soak a soak that goes out, the whole raid will just take a bajillion damage. Okay, very bad. There will be goblin guided rocket. So the way this mechanic works is it's just a soak that does more damage, less people in it. So we want to have about half the rate in it. Every time this soak comes out, everyone that was in it gets a debuff, preventing them from soaking further soaks for about a minute. In general, because of our strat, there should only be one soak per let's say phase being us staying on the blue side. Okay, so which means range can do this every single time. Range is in general just going to start as close as they can to the orange towards the entrance, and then work their way around this bend of the heart on the heart-shaped arena. Okay, mechanic called double whammy. I'm just going through the mechanics on this fight just briefly. This double whammy cast is just it's like a tank buster. Tank has to stand in front of whatever DPS gets it. So if you get this line, so you can see that's a soak. Soaks going out, like the mini soaks. This is line I'm talking about. This is double whammy. So tank stands in front. And then the last mechanic being spray and pray, just a cone on a random player, just bait it away from the raid. Alright, then when we swap sides, so we are going to be swapping sides after that spray and pray cast. Every time the boss swaps sides, the boss will do a shit ton of raid damage. You want to plan defensives, plan them for that cast. So on this side, there will be assigned soaks here. We need 5 people in each soak. So on Mythic, obviously that's half the raid. So just in general, 5 people in each soak. There's going to be a healer in each soak. You're going to get jailed. You cannot hit the boss here, right? So just mainly focus on single targeting the ad that's in every jail. That's your job. If you are not in the jail, you're hitting the boss. On heroic, this Frost Boot cast, I think it's called. Frost Shatter Boots. On heroic, this will spawn an ice spear. Okay, so it'll target random players that are not in the jails. This ice spear cast does a lethal amount of damage. You can immune it, so if you want to, you can stand towards, like away from these jails, and immune. Otherwise, you are going to go on the other side. They don't do this because it's normal. They go on. You have to go on the other side of the jails. When an ice spear hits a jail wall, it'll just destroy the jail wall. So sorry, let me just show this again. We are taking these soaks to the wall and working our way up counterclockwise, like so. Okay. And that's it for red side mechanics. It's pretty much just going to repeat over and over until the boss gets to 40%. When the boss gets to 40%, he's going to run to the middle and then do this sort of like dual beam looking mechanic where he's just going to spin around the arena. And all we have to do is just dodge the beams. So this is right here. We just have to follow the rotation. He's then going to charge at a random player. This player, okay, we are baiting it towards the red side, this first dash. He's going to do the beams again. He's going to aim at another player again. We're baiting this one up here, okay? Kind of where the melee started the fight. We're baiting it up there, okay? Like so. Dodge the beams again. We're probably going to have assigned move speed increases here. We're going to lust here. As we are on a race against the clock. After he's done with that mechanic, we're going to lust. And when the boss hits 100 energy, it's a raid wipe. Okay? So we're on a race against the clock. The boss will just do mechanics from both sides at this point. I have the cast sequence here, so if you look at it, I'm only going to go over the first one. So Unstable Crawler, Jail, Spray and Pray, Molten Golden Knuckles. So Unstable Crawlers is those mine ads that you saw, the Jails from the red side, and then a Spray and Pray, which is just the baited cone, and Molten Golden Knuckles is the tank mechanic. So there's a lot. This part of the fight is very fast paced. There's a lot going on. Okay, we have to be ready. You must know, in general, you have to be familiar with all these mechanics, okay? Because otherwise we are going to just bash your heads against this boss, okay? So I please ask that you do take extra time. You do prepare this boss. This boss was very rough on PTR. If the boss hits live with the same tuning, it is going to be very difficult. Okay. And like I said, for Chrome King Gallywix, I'm not going to talk about it. Just watch this video, Ready Check Pull, and I'll provide more information on day one. That's all I got.
Woohoo!
Wait. We can go.